Welcome back to the channel, guys. In this video I'm going to show you how to build a faux beam. When I say a faux beam, I mean a fake beam. It doesn't hold any weight, and with the price of material right now, if I can get away with not using a bunch of wood just to build a beam, I'm going to do it. These trusses here cantilever, so I don't need a beam under it, but I need to find a way to transition from my overhang soffit to my porch soffit, and that's how I'm going to do it. And if you're new to this channel, my name's Josh. This channel is all about building your own house, saving a ton of money, so be sure to subscribe, smash that like button, and hit the bell so you get a notification every time I release a new video. Let's get started. I'm going to give you a brief explanation what I'm going to do here. So I've got a 12-inch overhang here, so I marked over about 13 inches because I'm going to run a 2x6 here as a nailer, and then the thickness of the trim board I'm using is about 1 inch to 3/4, so I wanted to give it a little room to play, so I just added 1 inch, so it's 13 inches from here to here. I'm going to nail the 2x6 on, then I'm going to put the trim board laying this way, then trim board laying this way, and then make the bottom out of a piece of PVC board as well. So I just wanted to give you a rough idea of what you're looking at here. Like I said at the beginning of this video, I'm trying not to use as much wood as possible, so I did not want to buy new 2x6s, so I found some older ones I had laying around the house. And they're a little wavy, so it took a little work to get them straightened out to follow that chalk line. So that's why you see me toe-nailing nails and then hammering it from the side at times, because these boards are not perfectly straight. And even if they weren't old boards, they would still have some curve to them. You still got to do the same thing. And be sure when you nail these to nail on an angle, because if you nail straight up into the board, it does not have near the holding power as if you put the nail in on a slight angle, because the down pressure, because I'm hanging the fake beam on it, it's going to be pulling down on it over time. So you don't want those nails working loose, so I highly recommend doing that. And on this end, I've toe nailed it into the wall, so that way it kind of added a little extra support there too. As you can see, we got the nailer in. This is a 2x6, and it's going to give us a place, like I said, to nail the trim boards. But I just wanted to show you what it looked like up close. Alright guys, I want you to take note of these 6 3/4 inch blocks I nailed every 5 foot across that beam, or faux beam. I did that so it gives me a nailer for my trim boards, and it also acts as a support to hold that up against the top of that truss. So if you're wondering why those are there, that's what they're there for. And for instance, if you're doing a 12-foot section, you're going to want to go every 6 foot. So that way it catches the edges of the breaks and it catches the center of your trim board. So extra support, that's what we need. I'll show you up close what they look like. So that's what they look like every 5 foot apart or so. Easy peasy. All right, this is the material I'm going to be using to build this faux beam, and this is just PVC board 3/4 inch thick, and I'm going to cut it into 10-foot sections because this stuff's 12 foot long, and that way it gives me equal breaks. So that way when I put the fake post in later, it's going to give me a nice equal place to space them out. So let's go ahead and cut these square 10-foot pieces. Okay, I'm worried about catching a virus while working by myself, so I'm wearing this just in case. Just kidding. So I got to cut this PVC board. I'm using this sliding double bevel saw, and the reason why I'm wearing this mask is because it throws up fine particles of PVC and I do not want to inhale it. If I'm making a quick cut, I usually don't wear a mask, but this stuff's pretty wide, so it's kind of a lengthy cut. So I'm going to square up both ends. So if you don't have a sliding miter box like this, what I'd recommend you do is just take a circular saw, put a framing square up to the piece of PVC board, and using it as a guide so when you cut it, it's a perfectly straight cut instead of trying to freehand it. All right, let's go ahead and put this piece of board up. All right, so we got our boards installed across top, and as you can see here, have a galvanized nail every couple feet to hold it into place. So that's looking really good, and here's the joints. And then these joints, I'll run a little bit of caulk to make that joint look seamless. And I got the outside done as well. So you can see there, it's done. And now the next thing we got to do is cap off the bottom of the beam. And to do that, we're going to take a piece of 6-inch wide PVC board to do that. And I got nailers every 5 foot, like I said. So that's very critical because it needs to be able to have something to nail to and keep the right depth. So let's do that. When you're doing this, it's very hard to do by yourself because this stuff is so flimsy. As you can see here, it's flexing down almost in half just trying to get this up here by myself because I can only hold it in the middle, and I'm trying to wedge it up against the wall as I nail it, and as you can see, I'm struggling a little bit here, but After messing with it for a little bit, I definitely got a system down, but it's definitely challenging. And just a little note to self, I should have been wearing safety glasses, but I happened to forget to wear those. But make sure you wear those if you're using a nailer of any kind. But you can see this stuff's pretty stout, even though it's flexible. Like I said, you can almost bend it right in half and it won't break. And if you don't have a nailer like you see me using here, you can clearly just get galvanized nails. I would recommend getting at least 2-inch nails. The nails I'm using here are 2.5-inch in the gun, but 2-inch nails would be plenty. And they're going to leave a little bigger hole than what this gun's leaving. So all you got to do is take a little bit of caulk and just caulk those holes. You'll never see them. Even though this gun leaves a really, really small hole, I'm still going to go through with white caulk and caulk it. And just so you're aware, this is PVC board, so some people don't know this, but you can actually paint this stuff. You can sand it and it cuts like wood. I actually made a video about PVC versus wood not too long ago. You can check it out in my channel if you want. But yeah, so if you have to caulk this stuff a bunch for whatever reason, it's very easy to fix it because you can paint right over it. Just be sure it is exterior paint, of course, because this beam is outside. Okay, so that's what it's going to look like after you cap that bottom. You're going to have a nice finish on the bottom, and what you need to do as you nail this off, make sure you keep the reveal the same going across. You can always leave about an 1/8 inch gap or a 1/16 from the bottom, so that way it gives you room to play, because this stuff's super flexible, so it's easy to get off on it, to be honest with you. So if you look down this thing, let's take a look down it. You can see here it looks nice and straight. That's what you want, nice and straight. And again, make sure you use galvanized nails just in case the weather gets on it. You don't want to get streaks running down the nails if they start getting a little moisture to them. And what I do, I put finish nails where each of those blocks were inside here, and then underneath, do the same thing right there. And this needs wiped off, sorry about the dirt. But and then what I do, as I nail this off, I'd nail right here in the edge using a finish nailer, and that way it holds that reveal the same going across. So it's really important. And this is with a battery finish nailer, so it leaves a really small hole. So that's something to think about when you're going to build your beam. So what I'm going to do is every 10 foot apart, right where the breaks are, I'm going to put a post at a later date. I don't need to right away because there's no weight actually being held here. And then at the ends of the beams, I'm going to take a 2x4 pressure treated to go against the house, and then I'm going to wrap it in a post jacket that's cut in half, because I'm going to transition from stone to siding right at the porch as well, so that gives me a good way to transition. And I wanted to say thanks a lot for watching. Again, my name's Josh. Be sure to subscribe, smash that like button, and stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.